Working class slobs. Working class slobs. Hey there, welcome back to Regardless Beaver. I just got off work and I'm exhausted. I had sore hands from making all these twigs yesterday in the process of creating a Hugelkultur bed. Come on back if you want to see how you turn things like this into soil so you can grow things for your off-grid wilderness garden. Hey there, welcome back to Eager Gridless Beaver. I am your host, D-. What you're looking at there in front of you is a big pile of clay. I put the backhoe back on the tractor a couple days ago, so it is in good shape for doing work. And when I put the backhoe back on, I like to do a quick cast with it. And what I've done here is, where I'm standing is where that dirt used to be. I've taken it out and put it to the side. And we have all of that wonderful wood bits that we're going to be adding in and layering back with this soil, along with some leaf matter that we have collected from down below on our property. But eventually we're going to be putting this back in with all these piles of twigs and wood that we see around here. So stick around if you're interested in watching us go through this wonderful bed making process where we're turning crap soil into a wonderful garden bed. So you can see this bed is not in great shape. I mean, it's not in great shape. I just dug down about 2.5 feet. And I'm just going to remove any of the big rocks that I can find, such as ones like that we don't necessarily want in here. And then mix things around a little bit loosely with the shovel. I was thinking about digging this with my trusty shovel here, but I opted for not doing that because it takes so long. I knew I had to put the backhoe on. It would make such quick work of this job, which it did in mere minutes. I'm glad I waited a couple days and just did that work first. There's always seems to be an order of operations thing around here. Anyway, we're just going to continue to dig out these rocky bits and sort of level it out. I'm going to hand shovel some of this out. And then we're going to get a base going with some wood pieces and just talk about how we're going to transform this soil and this bed into a nice working bed versus what it is now, which is compacted clay that's full of rocks. This is looking pretty good. Fairly level now. Not perfect, doesn't have to be. Okay, so I got one big stick in there. So the next thing to do is to put in a bunch more big stuff to get a good layering system. That's what we're going to be doing, is basically layering all this stuff. We have some big logs that are going to go on the top, and then as we move further and further up, we're going to be adding progressively smaller sticks so that things break down closer to the surface quicker. And then down below, the wood that's bigger doesn't break down as fast, but it doesn't really need to. What this does in the future is breaks down, obviously, but while it's breaking down, it stores things like water, so you don't have to water these beds as much. Not that that's the biggest reason we're doing this. I just like the thought of using up all this stuff instead of just burning it as we're processing things. So that's how it works. It stores all these nutrients, it releases it into the root system as things need it, as well as moisture, and breaks down and then adds loam to the soil. So let's get to it. First layer, bigger logs. Okay, that looks about fine for the first level. We're not looking for perfection as far as the coverage. Just want it to be fairly flat. That's the reason that we cut the stuff down like we do. This piece is pretty big, but we can wedge it in spots here, such as that. It's also important to note, I mean, I think you could use softwood, but the value in a lot of this is with hardwood. So you want to use hardwood, I think, when you are doing this. I think it would help. There's more nutrients. I know that if you're using too much softwood, it's not giving as much nutrient base as you might think. And things like birch bark and bark of any type that's hardwood based is helpful as well, so feel free to use it. Okay, we're going to call this as layer 1 complete. So nothing too complicated now. I mean, you could see there's a lot of still gaps in here. Maybe I can do stuff like that because it is pretty high. But this is a good base. I'm not going to overcomplicate this. If I was just using dirt, it would be this. And it is not soft. So this is probably going to be a bit of a problem in the future, but at least we're creating a pretty good base to be able to grow things and not just this crappy soil. And where I took this out from, dirt level was about up to here. We're going to go a lot higher. So, and probably mounded. So, prepare yourself. Okay, so that's all laid out. And the first layer that we're going to go on top of this is some dirt to help block this stuff in a little bit. So, we're taking some of this crap dirt that's piled to the side of Hugelkultur. This is the dirt from the original bed. And we're just going to loosely put some on top. This is a scale that I'm not used to myself. I've done smaller versions. So this is all going to be trying things out. Just leveling this out and helping fill in these gaps a little bit better. It's more uniform. That's what we sort of want, is just uniform coverage for things. So as it's building up, it's creating a loamy bed. That was fine. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to add in is some of this here leaf mold, just to help things going, and then we're going to work to a larger size for sticks. Even this is too big. We'll need smaller pieces than this, or bigger pieces, excuse me. And then we just keep on repeating. So I'm going to need more of this, I know. Yeah, so once again, we just want thin layers. The sun's going to come around here soon, so I don't want to work in the sun. Flies are done now for the most part. Getting into deer flies and hot weather. That's good. So the coverage is fairly good. Get this rocket here. Okay, so much like the first time you've seen this, I want flat ones, like just to show you an example. This one, it's got a lot of curves and stuff into it, so wherever you place it, it's going to create an air gaps, or gaps where you're going to have to fill it weird. So I try to put those ones to the side when I find them, and go for, the length. There's a lot of room in this bed as far as like length is concerned. So you can fit quite a bit in here. This is the same thing. That's not too bad that direction. And some spots you might be able to find, yeah, where it fits better. we're just going to start getting these positioned so that we have our next layer sort of defined. You know, you don't have to do things this way. There's lots of ways you could probably do the same. I've watched other things years ago. People were doing it all kinds of ways. I'm just doing it, replicating the way that I did it for the smaller bed, which is start bigger and then move to smaller pieces. I'll have to get in there, get a lot more pieces of wood too. Sorry, bud. Hello. I'm gonna have so much wood left over, it's ridiculous. Spent all that time making all those pieces. I do have a lot of beds to do, but I'm not sure I have time to do it like this every time. Be doing this all day. I don't want the smaller pieces in yet, so I'm not gonna put it. I'm just gonna get some more big pieces and then this one more round and this will do it. Now I'm trying to be patient and get a good coverage here without taking too long. That's for me is always the balancing act. Is if something takes too long, I don't want it to go very fast. So, but there's no sense in rushing projects and getting crappy results. So, spending the time to do it at least a little bit better seems like it's beneficial. So, okay, I think we're gonna call that. That looks pretty good. We're gonna add some more dirt on top again, and then some more leaf mold, and then move to our next layer of thinner sticks than this. I'm gonna have so much left over, it's gonna be unreal. But anyway. No sense in leaving rocks in there, right? Oh, I can't wait to get this level done, take a break. The sun's coming around here. I don't want to be doing this in the afternoon. Yeah, so we'll just level this out a little bit with the with the hoe. Wish I was using the backhoe for this. Then we'll put, I'm going to make an executive decision here and put in some actual peat moss. Because I think some loam, I'm not sure I'm going to have enough leaf mold. No, you know what? I have lots here. I'm going to keep going. I'm getting pretty sick of shifting the tile around now. You make decisions that seem like such a good idea at the time. I think I'm gonna add some more in. I have much more room. This didn't break down as much, and I don't really care. It's fine. Gonna be fine. So rather than screw with it, I'm just gonna add some more in here. Ah, deer fly. No. Right from black fly season to deer fly season. We need our blue cup hat trap. If you don't know what that is, and you work outside, you need to know about it. Oh man. Okay, goodness. That's good. We have a lot of excess wood. I don't want to, we saw the two sizes that we did up so far. They're pretty big, and then into the smaller ones. We have such a mishmash in here now that I don't want to get into that. So what I'm going to do is just start taking this stuff that you see in front of you and start to layer it out, and then doing more of the same. In behind the camera, I have another pile of leaf mold and stuff that's going to be useful as layers in between. I've almost exhausted the pile that I set up with. Got me through two and a half layers, so that's pretty good, but now that we have gotten this far, I'm going to need some more materials, and I don't want to spend a lot of time breaking up those smaller pieces that we have, so I need to do bigger ones. So this is what I mean, the sizing of what we have left. Pieces like this size, roughly an inch, a little bit bigger and gnarlier, I won't be putting these in. Most of these we just chopped them up so that we could transport them out of the way and sort of prep them. But pieces like this just aren't as useful. Pieces like that, which are fine. I mean, eventually we'd like to end up with a bunch of small pieces on top like this, but we're going to start mixing and matching them inside here now. There's no sense in stopping. It's really going to slow me down if I have to stop to make them all a certain size or search for them. I'd rather just get them in there and mash them down and then put more layers on top, just as long as it's fairly flat. So I'll have to be selective about things. Ah, there's 2 deer flying me right. There's 3 right here. Bring your hat. I need a rescue. Quick. They're attacking me. Help, deer fly hat trap. This wasn't planned, by the way, but we'll go with it. Help me, haha, deer fly hat trap. Make them go away. Shake your head. See, you like her deer fly hat trap? She shakes her head around. The flies are attracted to it. They stop going around me and the dogs. And then the deer fly are captured and we don't have to deal with the deer fly anymore. So
There's still one hanging around.
there's, feel free to kill them.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Deer fly hat trap saves the day again. Woo! Got my Dwayne Ward hat going here.
Dwayne who?
Dwayne Ward.
Who's that?
He was a legend. Gaming legend. Anyway, this layer's sort of complete. What do you think?
That's good.
Oh,
More dirt now?
yeah, more dirt. This is the part that takes the longest. Deer flies. All right, I have a couple more spadefuls of dirt to throw in here just to help out. And then we'll do this, put this all in. Those rocks you see, just pick them out. This isn't obviously something you want to do if you were doing a Hugelkultur bed or a permaculture, but we're just trying to get this compacted enough so that this stuff can, another layer can be put on top. Ah, deer fly! That's good. That's probably enough. Start getting this next layer on. Okay. Okay, so we have the dirt on top of the latest layer of wood. Now we're going to add another layer of our leaf mold here, so that we'll probably add 2 wheelbarrowfuls just to give ourselves lots of room, because we're getting close to the surface and we want things to grow good. And then go to a really small layer of twigs. So that was pretty high up. We're going to really try to get a thin layer of high nutrient twigs. It might take a little longer, so it might be more gathering, but we're going to get this stuff on first. Okay, so we have actually used up 95% of the soil that we were going to put in this bed that we took out, so we're in good shape. It looks like it's pretty healthy, but we're going to do one more layer of small twigs on top and then more compost. So we are into the final stages of the Hugelkultur bed. I'm just making up some really small pieces to go in the final layer. Stuff that's just so small it's going to break down within the first year, basically. I'm just going to create a pile here, and anything that's too big, I don't even want to go this size. So anything like this, I might take these bits if they're dry enough. If not, I'm just tossing it to the side. Got so much materials to work with here that I can be selective. And these things have a lot of nutrients. It doesn't seem like it, but there's a lot of bark per square inch, you know, as far as or millimeter maybe with these sizes, because there's not much girth to them, right? But the bark is the stuff that has the most value. You know, what can I tell you about oh, it's starting to rain. What can I tell you about hugelkultur? It's taking things like this, these sort of worthless pieces of stuff that can't do much. I mean, they're useful for nature. I don't make them seem like if you didn't have these in nature, they weren't going to be doing something beneficial, because they would. But, you know, if you have cut down a tree in your yard and you're really mostly concerned with firewood, a lot of times you're just going to burn these things. At least that's what we do. Or push them into the woods and leave them if you've got the space, which we don't. So we typically end up burning things. But this year we decided to store it. We just kept it in a pile on top of an area with some stumps near it, which have since all been cleared away. But that wood, we decided it was going to be messy and we'd have to work around it. It probably would be a bunch more work, and we'd be better off just ordering soil in versus trying to create soil. But where's the fun in that? So many weekends we burned away on this project, you know? What else are we gonna do? Go see movies? Nice dinners at fancy restaurants? Taking the dogs on get their nails clipped? No, we won't do any of those things. We'll just spend our time doing this. You know, you get in this time of the year, and I want to relax, but I can't, because there's so many little things that I want to do. I find this pretty relaxing. It's not really that hard, as long as you got some hats and gloves and the wood is dry enough. That's really the important thing. Then this isn't too big. Even this is too big a project. But once it hits in summer, we are into June now, and what does that mean? It means that there's not much sunlight left. I mean, we are getting near the longest day of the year, which is awesome. But that also means that it starts getting shorter after that, which isn't so awesome. So taking care of things when it's beautiful, like right now, it's nice to be outside, as long as the deer flies aren't too bad. 3D house of twigs. Ah, woo, woo. Ah. Okay, so we're back, and we have turned all of these pieces of wood into smaller pieces of wood. We're going to apply these to the surface of the Hugelkultur bed, and then apply one more layer of dirt and one more layer of compost and leaf mold, and we're going to basically call it a day. So yeah, very exciting. off a lot, of course, of filming things. What a horrible intro. Yeah, so these are like examples of things you don't necessarily want. Sorry for the heavy breathing. Oh, pretty Griffith's beaver. Okay, we get the picture here. There's all kinds of small stuff left here, but we're going to call it. So there's two things left. Add dirt and add leaf mold. So I'm going to start the tractor up because we have no more available from this bed. And then when we get to that, we're going to put the dirt probably just centrally right in the middle. And then throw the wheelbarrow of stuff, the compost, the leaf mold, all that good stuff on top. My brain is frazzled. I was working all day, so sometimes I just can't really shift my thinking too much. Okay. Yay. I mean, I think I'm going to put another layer of this stuff on top. But we're going to call this because this project's been so long. I'm at the stage now that I just really want it done. It was a lot of effort, but at the same time, I think it's going to be really worth it. Look at this bed. I mean, you saw from part of the video earlier where I was laying down inside of this bed, and now if I tried to lay down inside of it, it would be definitely, well, you'd see me, obviously, right? So there's that. Anyway, it's extremely nice. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. So if you want to make yourself a Hugelkultur bed like this, I suggest you follow my instructions. Maybe take a little bit more time towards the tail end of the project because yeah, the whole making the small part, breaking them up really small, I found rather tedious, and my hands were sore. So like I said, we'll get one more load of this on. I'm not going to do it tonight. I want to take a break. My legs are sore. And we're going to call it. Thanks for sticking around. Subscribe. Like. Do whatever the hell you want to do. I would be fine with it. If you made it this far, you deserve a star anyway. So thank you for sticking around. I do greatly appreciate it. I know my content doesn't exactly do much to please people, but it is what it is. So much like everything else that we do around here, we have so many cycles to put into things, and that's what we have to go with. And what we're getting for our content is what I have time for. Hopefully in the fall and winter months I'll be able to spend more time and clean things up, theoretically. Take care until next time. Thanks.
You're fresh. Do you like getting fresh? Hey, stop being, that's too much. Sometimes we think that liking each other is nice, but trying to put your tongue in another species' mouth is sort of disgusting. Maybe you don't find that, but I'm a little more educated than you. You've got more class.